Hi everybody, welcome to Kastor'sCorner.com. I'm your host Khalil, here for another toy of the day. Our shirts are up on our shop. Links below. We're doing our beginnings videos, and one of the lines that really captured, this is kind of ironic, I did not plan this, by the way, with everything that's going on, but one of the lines that really captured my imagination and was rekindled over the pandemic was this. The Secret Wars, the Marvel Superhero Secret Wars. And it is one of those lines that really was a placeholder. And I'll go more into that. But you can go to Kastor'sCorner.com for a full gallery of these toys, as well as our other beginnings videos and our other Toy of the Day videos. Toy of the Day. You can follow us. We are at Kastor's Corner on all social media, and you can check out the Cornercast podcast up on Apple Podcasts every Monday night. So the Secret Wars line is one of those lines that kind of came out at a time where I wasn't really reading comic books. And no, I did not open up my Kang. I actually have a packaged Kang, and yes, I only paid $17.99 for him. He still has his Bradley sticker on there. It's got everybody on the back. It's got all the details, the little file card on the top. Not the best card, but not bad. I found it in a local shop here in Connecticut. And he only wanted $17 for it. So, yeah, sure. I'll take that for $17. I'm sure he's going to skyrocket now. But I got this guy. So over last summer, after getting him, one of my first trips out after being kind of quarantined and kind of closed off and not really going places, and shops being open, I went in and there he was, and I realized I don't have any Secret Wars figures. I mean, I had my original black suit Spider-Man and blue and red Spider-Man, but that was it. And so last year, after tracking down some other lines, I tracked down the Secret Wars line, and within like 2 or 3 auctions, I picked up Wolverine, I picked up Iron Man, and the Marvel 3 3/4 line from Hasbro, the retro line, the Kenner line, really sparked this as well. I got Iron Man. We got Magneto. I know he's missing. I think he's missing a belt. We got good old Captain America. We got Zemo. We got Doctor Doom. And, well, we got whose thing we got? Oh yeah, it's Kang's. It's Kang's shield. I got a lot of Kang stuff for some reason, surprisingly. I got Doc Ock. Keep him in the bag just because he's the one that I keep in the bag. His tentacles are very, very fragile. They were as a kid. I remember biting them off. I just remember just like gnawing on it. But they're very, very loose on this guy. But we got Doc Ock here. And the crown jewel of the collection at the moment, until I get an Iceman, Falcon. So growing up, actually, I had all of these figures except Falcon. I didn't get the European ones, of course. Never had Hobgoblin, never had Electro, never had Constrictor, and never had Iceman. Of those, would I like them? Yes. Iceman's probably the only one I'm going to chase. Found one in a comic book shop when I just started my new job for $200, and I didn't have my first check yet, and I couldn't rationalize spending $200 on one figure. And I went back during the pandemic and called the shop and says, "Do you still have it?" And they honestly still had him, like up until like a month before I called. They had just sold him. So I just missed out on Iceman. And he's hard because the white plastic that they use kind of deteriorates, and he's now yellow, which on most of them, it's really hard to get a pearl one. So right now, Falcon is probably the crown jewel of this for me. He's one of the only ones I never had as a kid. And honestly, this was, besides the cartoons, this was really the introduction to the Marvel Universe for me. I knew of Captain America, I knew Spider-Man and Iron Man, of course, but like I didn't really know much about Wolverine. And so having an action figure of him, it didn't really matter back then. I could care less. I just kind of had them. These were like my favorites. Like these were the big 3 for me. and I carried them everywhere with me. They were really soft, kind of gummy plastic. They stood very weird. You'll see you have to put like 1 foot forward and then 1 foot kind of, it's braced on the back, you can see. So this is how they stood. And you kind of had to balance them with like one arm forward and one arm back. So like they did the Jay Hernandez pose before Jay Hernandez did the pose. And so these were kind of my favorites. And I had absolutely no frame of reference, but I knew I had these three. Didn't really know about Magneto yet. I didn't know anything about Zemo or Kang at all. And I just knew that they were the bad guys. And so I had them. And back then I had all the vehicles. I had the Doom Roller and the Captain America cycle and the Villain cycle and the Castle. And I remember having all that stuff, and they were very good companion pieces to superpowers, but they weren't superpowers. These figures didn't have action features. They had shields, and these shields had kind of like holograms where if you moved them, the picture moved, and it was a really cool feature, but they were really big and kind of clunky, and they didn't really fit on the figures, and the figures didn't really come with they came with weapons, but like Doom came with like a gun and there's no cape, and that always felt weird to me. And I remember as a kid, like his gun would like fit in the peg here, but I remembered more like soft, like I chewed on my figures a lot as a kid. Don't know what that was about. But you know, they were fun. They were fun, but they were not like my Marvel figures. It wasn't until the late 80s when Marvel superheroes came out from Toy Biz, early 90s, well, yeah, late 80s, that really, and I know this is a different line, I know, but he stored with them. But it wasn't until these that I really got into the Marvel Universe. I bought all the Marvel Universe file cards, and I bought, the handbook to the Marvel Universe. But if I was going to say anything, I would say that the Secret Wars line was my introduction into the larger Marvel Universe. Because until then, I knew Spider-Man, I knew the Incredible Hulk, I knew Firestar, I knew Iceman, I knew something about the X-Men, but like I didn't know anything about these guys at all growing up. And so it wasn't until the handbook but these are the guys that kind of inspired that. I loved my Iron Man growing up. I'll admit that. I carried him everywhere, or I remember carrying him a lot of places. The colors and the look for him. So when the Kenner line came out recently, the 3 3/4 line, I jumped at it, like, because these things just had such a magic place in my heart, and I was looking to kind of recreate that. I mean, I think that's what all these beginning videos is about, is that these things kind of started that journey. This line was Mattel doing the Marvel figures back then. And everybody came with a shield, with the hologram to it, and they had a little comic on the back that talked a little bit about it. I didn't think about that. There's no oh yeah, the barcode's on the top. So you can see the collection there, and I had all of those. I guess Magneto didn't have a belt. Okay. But yeah, so that there you go. Secret Wars. It wasn't the definitive line that Superpowers turned out to be, but nonetheless, it still had a very big part of my childhood and continues to today. I mean, Marvel Legends is the only line, with the exception of Thundercats, that I am a completist on, where I'm buying everything they put out, much to my wallet's disappointment. But that's another talk for another day. So you can check out a full gallery of these guys up on castorscorner.com. You can follow us. We are at Kastor's Corner on all social media. Check out the Cornercast podcast every Monday night, and hit the subscribe button down below. The more of you that subscribe, the more cool things we get to do, and then we get to share them with you. And really, that's really the most fun of doing any of this stuff, is to kind of share these stories with you guys. So put down in your comments, what was your favorite Secret Wars character? Which one did you never have and you always wanted? And are you still tracking these guys down? Because they're not that pricey. They are definitely... Oh, and I got a Daredevil back there, but my Daredevil is like leaking paint. So every time I touch it, my hands turn red, and I think I need one in the package. So it might be one I gotta track down. But again, I didn't know who Daredevil was either. So thanks for watching, guys, and we will see you tomorrow night for another toy of the day here on Castor'sCorner.com. Have a good night, everybody.